Hi, this is Hilton Samuel, and in this video we are going to be looking at how to date without breaking the bank. But first of all, we want to look at the question, what is dating? Now, young people nowadays don't actually date. Well, they don't call it dating. They hook up, they chirps one another, there are different terminology. So the landscape of dating has been changing. But for the purposes of this video, I actually got a question, and bear with me while I bring this question up. So here is the question. Can you give any advice or ideas on how to date in a way that will not break your pocket? That is not too expensive. So what is dating? Primarily, to put it simply, this is not a definite dictionary definition. Dating is actually a process of looking for, evaluating, and deciding whether or not a person is the best fit for you, or if you should explore a relationship with that person or take it further. So having gotten that out of the way, I am not too... the dating process, the modern dating process, is not something that I really give much credence to. There was a book out some time ago by a guy called Joshua Harris. He wrote a book, a groundbreaking book called Why I Kissed Dating Goodbye. It actually caused a lot of shock waves in the Christian community. Of recent times, I understand that he actually apologized for some of the effects and impact that the book has had. Nonetheless, let's look at some of the advantages, maybe, and disadvantages of dating. Dating, is a process of getting to know someone, having fun while you're getting to know that individual. In the secular world, there is no definite end period. In fact, in the Western world, dating is really something that you do with someone you like, just for the fun of it. Many people don't take it any further. And there are a group of people who actually decided that they are going to do only courting and not dating. And then there is a controversy about courting versus dating and all that sort. But I think that there are some disadvantages to dating, and I'll just explain why. First of all, the expense, which is what you know about, and that is why you're asking the question. The whole aspect of dressing up. Some people, especially women, get very excited that they've gotten asked for a date. They're going to the prom. They have to buy a new dress. They have to have shoes and purse to match, and then getting your hair done, and the taxi to get to the place, and the actual date itself, whether or not you're going to a dinner, movies, concerts, or some other event, usually, and in a lot of cases, costs money. It is really what I call an investment. So there are some problems that I think are about dating. Can I just give you some of them? Bear with me. It is a type of investment. The more money you have to cough up, and in some instance, some people don't have the money, but because they want to impress the girl, then they really squeeze themselves to take that person to an expensive restaurant or to a very expensive event. And then there was also the confusion amongst postmodern people and women. Who should pay for the bill if you are taken out? Should you go Dutch, meaning split it 50-50? Or should the man do the old-fashioned thing? If I ask you out, then I pay for it. Kind of awkward. As my son would say, sticky. Right? Going on this awkward business, usually when people go on dates, they are on their best behavior, and it's a contrived environment. If I'm sitting across from you and I know that I have to look pretty, or if I'm the man, I have to keep up appearances, I have to make you feel good, I have to say the right things, laugh at the jokes, give jokes, and it can be, especially if you're liking the person and this is the first time and you want to impress the person, it can be very awkward indeed. And usually people are not themselves. Now, having spoken about the expense and some of the problems and issues. I have here the ROI, return on an investment. Many times, if people keep giving you expensive gifts, taking you out to expensive restaurants and hotels and all these kind of things, then, they are expecting something in return eventually. So you need to be very careful with the type of investment. If someone has just gotten to know you and they are treating you to a very expensive dinner, you need to be suspicious of that. You need to be very careful. Here is what I would suggest, and coming to the question, that you have alternative methods of scoping out, meeting, engaging, evaluating the people that are of interest to you. If someone invites you out, sometimes I say for the first invitation, nicely decline and give them an alternative method of meeting you. So, for example, if they ask you out for Saturday night, say, well, look, I'm not going to be busy Saturday night. However, I am going to be playing tennis on Sunday morning, and if you like, you can come along. You can definitely come along. So that's an alternative. You don't turn it down flat. You always give an alternative. And there are some things and some places you can go for free events that you will do anyway. For example, if you're a sports freak, or if you're a person who likes to play sport, tennis, basketball, football, or any other type of sport that I don't have here, just invite the person along and you would have fun together. I remember I am from the Caribbean. I had no idea, have no concept of what these people call ice skating. However, I went to an ice skating event, and I went along with a friend of mine I was getting to know, and we had fun. A lot of bruised bottom. But in the process, we interacted and we really had fun together. And I got to know her a lot better than I would have if I was sitting across a table trying to use a knife and fork that I am not accustomed to using. Invite them to the gym. There are free events, community that our churches put on, bonfire events, charity events like, the marathon. Well, obviously, if you're not a sports person, don't try to run the marathon just to impress someone. But a lot of people, I remember one couple I know of, they met running not a marathon, but a 10K, I think, charity run. So, and if you do want to go someplace and sit down, start small. Don't start with a big dinner at an expensive upmarket restaurant. Just start by meeting the person for tea or coffee. And there is nothing wrong in going out in nature. Nature is always free. You can go for hikes, nature walks in the park, the zoo. Hold on, something is going funny here. Museum, well, a museum, I don't know why I have it on the nature walks, but you can visit museum. The museum nowadays are free, and you can do your own. If you want to eat, why not create your own dinner? Make your own dinner. I remember a couple of the girls I dated, because I was vegan, I used to make them vegan hamburgers and meet up with them and, chat and, do little things like that. Or you can do it together. It's fun as you prepare a meal together, invite him or her in the kitchen, and as you're doing some, and the beauty, the good thing about this is that as you are doing something, interacting, you don't have to pretend your hair is down. You are your natural self. Go to picnics, lunches, make your own sandwiches, and ask for help. One of the things I suggest to people is that they, ask the person that they're interested in to give them help in an area that the person is an expert in. And many people, when you ask for help, are more than happy to help. If you have a car and the person is a mechanic, ask them if they can fix something on the car, and most times they will say yes. And again, this is an opportunity to have just a conversation without having to pretend. So these are some of the things that you can do in order not to break the bank, just to get to know someone. I hope that helps.